Speaking of sharing of picks, we're trying to do so on Twitter. This person here says the Giants money line. They're already getting 6 points at New Orleans this weekend. Tommy DeVito fever, Chris Raybon. I saw you smirking a bit. I think you might like this.
Well, yeah, first of all, you and Glash need to save the bickering for marriage counseling or something, because that was a lot. But as far as the Giants money line, I'm not going to say mixing the water at all, because first of all, anytime you have a spread that's within 6, which is, what you get for a standard teaser, that's like, you're not really going out on a limb by saying that's, that it could go one way or the other. So Derek Carr, Dennis Allen, big letdown guys. Both of them struggle mightily as favorites. So I'm not going to say mixing the water at all. I kind of like that, actually.
Nice. Stuckey, how about you?
Yeah, I think you got to mix it in water. The Giants have won 3 straight somehow, but they had 6. They got 6 turnovers against Washington, and they were playing one of the worst defenses in the NFL. They got 3 more turnovers against the Patriots. Won that game at home 10-7, with the Patriots vomiting all over themselves. And then they got, I think, 2 or 3 more turnovers against the Packers and won in the final seconds. So yeah, this is I think a tougher ask on the road against the Saints. DeVito's a good story, but he's still awful. And I would not be backing the Giants now. I mean, they just won 3 straight. I don't think they're making it 4 in New Orleans. They've been the benefit of a ton of opponent mistakes of late. So yeah, I'm actually going to say mixing the water here.
Raybon, you care to push back?
It's the Saints. I mean, do I have to say anymore? I mean, we've seen this Saints team over and over and over just vomit on themselves. So if there's any team likely to give the Giants another 3 or 4 gifts, it's the Saints. And we talked about this before, because I think you told somebody to mix in a water when Washington, when they wanted to take Giants money line against Washington. I'm like, Washington is another one of those teams. It's just certain teams just so mistake prone. And I think the Giants are at that point where they're kind of on their Steelers, just getting lucky over and over. But hey, I would never tell anyone to mix in the water for fading the Saints. Put it that way.
I mean, the Saints this year, the Washington is the worst defense in the league, though, which helps. And they had 6 turnovers. That's like it was 6-0 turnover margin. If that happens, yeah, the Giants will win this game, I promise. But I mean, the Saints have, in fairness to the Saints this year, they've taken care of business against the teams that they should have beat. I mean, they beat the Bears by a touchdown at home. They beat the Panthers by 22. They beat the Patriots by 34. So they beat the Panthers early in the season. So they haven't really lost to a bad team this year. So yeah, and they have a much more competent defense than the Commanders. And it's in New Orleans. So I don't hate taking the points, but I don't think that the Giants are winning this game.
All right, let's go to the Commanders now, Raybon. Jack weighs in. He likes the Commanders on the money line. Similar spot. Commanders on the road in Los Angeles. For whatever that's worth. I mean, it's Los Angeles. Are they really, really fans? But they're getting 6.5 points, and Jack says Commanders money line. Does Jack need to mix in a water?
No, but I don't like it as much as the Giants money line. I think the problem with the Commanders is they've had their quarterback healthy, unlike a lot of teams. They've generally been healthy on offense, and yet they just can't find wins anymore. Like, they lost to this Giants team. It's just not happening for them. So I think there's deeper issues there and anytime I can't really pinpoint exactly what the issue is, I would tend to shy away. But I don't hate. I mean, the Rams have been a little up and down as well. I think they're they're gonna stay on a roll though, because Cooper Kupp is finally healthy. Kyron Williams is finally healthy, and all those guys are kind of humming together. I think inserting Demarcus Robinson into that offense helps your run blocking and gives you a different type of receiver too. So I just think that Rams offense is rolling. But if Matthew Stafford throws a couple of picks and whatnot, the Commanders have the offense themselves to stay close. I mean, this Rams defense isn't. We saw them against Baltimore, right? Like the same busted coverage like 2 or 3 times. So I don't hate it, but I don't like it as much as fading the Saints.
Stuck. Commanders
Yeah.
getting 6.5, but this fella Jack wants to take him on the money line.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep serving up waters. I'm gonna say mixing water. Bro, you say you don't know the problem with the Washington. It's their defense. It's the worst defense in the league. It is the worst defense by far since they traded their edge rusher. They have no edge rush now, and their secondary is bad. That is a deadly combination. If you throw out the Patriots game, which they won 20-17, and the Patriots are horrendous. Here are their 5 other games since they made those trades. They gave up 38 to the Eagles, 29 to the Seahawks, 45 to the Cowboys, 45 to the Dolphins. I mean, and then 31 to the Giants. The past 5 games, if you remove that Patriots game, they're giving up 37 points per game. The last 3 opponents have gotten to 45, 45, and 31. They can't stop a nosebleed. I don't see how they get many stops against the Rams, and that offense is humming right now. Indoors, they can't. If you can't pressure Stafford and you have a bad secondary, good night. Now Washington, I think, will put up its fair share of points, but they're good. The Rams will get a couple more stops. Is basically what this comes down to. If it got to like 7, I wouldn't hate taking Washington, but there's no path for this defense. It's absolutely abysmal. And it's right now it's the worst in the league, and there's some bad defenses out there.
Yeah,
I feel like this is incorrect logic though, because if you have, let's say, a 6 to 7 point spread, like we know the standard deviation, all it takes is like one turnover or one thing to kind of go left, and now you're essentially at a tie game. So like if you're not saying, like, if you're essentially saying you think the spread should be like much higher, if you're saying you wouldn't take you have a problem with the money line, you're saying the spread should be like -10 or something, because -6, -7, that's why we tease. We know like one play either way, mathematically speaking, could swing the whole game.
I wouldn't tease them if I was not confident in them winning this game. And I love this over. So there's such less variance in this game too. I think that the Rams are just going to score at will, and I think the player more likely to make mistakes in this game is Hal, and he's more likely to take sacks, and that's the difference in this game. And he's fixed his sack issues a little bit. They've got rid of Gates at center, put in Larson, which has helped their pass protection a bit. But I don't care if Stafford turns over, they get a pick 6. The Rams are just going to come right back down and score. So I want no interest in backing this Washington team to win a game with that defense. I would need a better price than what's out there right now.
Okay.
Yeah. And also the total for that one, you mentioned it's sitting at 49 currently at Bet365. Rams going coast to coast, back to coast. And obviously Sam Howell got to fix sack problems. Can't have that. How about the Chicago Bears? William tells us that his best bet, I can tell you, the best bet for week 14, I think this person's still thrown off. We're in week 15, William.
Yeah, this guy here, Tim Williams, going to mix in a comma and a period.
Yeah,
with this tweet.
Horrendous. Make your English teacher sick. So already probably needs to mix in water for the punctuation. Bears money line, DJ Moore touchdown, Justin Fields touchdown. I can tell you I have a little more money Christmas presents. Okay, that makes sense. I interpret this as a parlay, as I'm trying to interpret all of this being strung together. The Bears, look, they had a good performance last week, beat the Lions outright. Can they keep it going, Raybon?
Yeah, they can. I think the Bears are trending up. I think what so DJ Moore touchdown actually is probably the one that would worry me the most, because I think the Browns have a lot of injuries on defense. So I think Justin Fields can make things happen, but it looks like they might be getting Denzel Ward back. So that would make it tougher on DJ Moore, but would also make it, with some of the other injuries, I think, Justin Fields running one in or maybe hitting a different receiver, that could definitely happen. They could definitely win the game, because I think the Bears defense is starting to play a little better, especially, defending a run, which is what Cleveland really wants to do if they can. So I don't mind it. I would say the DJ Moore touchdown feels a little bit chasey, especially if Denzel Ward is back. But I do like the Bears to win that one. Actually, I'd say a little tease ahead to our to the pod later. But yeah, that's gonna be my money line parlay pick.
I would think
Bears.
too. I know Tim, you're gonna go to Stuck here next, but I would think like that you would want to get the 3.5 now if you want to get the Bears, because teaser protection and all those kinds of things, right? Might play into that game with Cleveland. Or teaser protection for the Bears, I should say.
I mean, it's just, if you're talking about just getting the hook, period. I mean,
yeah.
Anytime you're talking about a 3 versus 3.5, that's literally the most valuable half point in NFL betting. So yeah, but I'm just talking money line here. You know, I think the Bears are a live dog, so don't mind it at all here. But I'm just, you know, DJ Moore touchdown. That's the one that would give me a little bit of pause. You know, and obviously he can run it too, which helps, but that one just feels a little more chasey than just kind of picking the Bears to cover, to win. Fields to do his thing. He's getting the ball every snap, you know. So, but that's how I see it.
Can we go 3 for 3 on contention, Stuckey?
No, I like this. The Bears, I mean, the Browns are getting way too much love for that win last week. I was on them, but it was the perfect spot. And you had the Jags with all those injuries. And, you know, Jags on a short week. Lawrence wasn't really practicing. You know, they were down to backup offensive linemen. They should get some back this week. They might get some defenders back. And the Browns, the Browns injuries are, I mean, they are piling up. I mean, where do you want to start? I mean, Ford, we mentioned Ford, the running back might not play, but offensive line, they just lost their 3rd starting offensive tackle of the year. Their center got hurt last week. Ethan Pochich, he might not play. The defensive line, you lost your starting defensive tackle, Maurice Hurst, for the year. His backup, Jordan Elliott, in concussion protocol. One of their other backup defensive linemen, Okoronkwo, he's hurt. You know, go to the secondary. Grant Delpit just placed on IR. Thornhill didn't play last week. We'll see if he plays. You could get Ward back, but this Bears team's playing really well. You go since week 7, Bears 1 spot ahead of the Browns in EPA per play on defense. Mobile quarterback in Fields, which is given the Browns some issues this year because you need to have a mobile quarterback to evade that pressure. But all these injuries, you have Flacco as a statue, and you know he's going to be down to 4th and 5th string tackles, maybe a backup center, and you can't really run on the Bears. And this Bears team is playing really well since they signed Sweat, allowed them to get more pressure. Jalen Johnson's playing like an all-pro corner, so allowed a 26 quarterback rating against the best in the league among qualified corners. So yeah, this is, and look, this is a game with a total of 37. So yeah, just one turnover here or there. It's probably going to decide it. Yeah, I like the Bears. I think this is a good spot to buy them. All the pressure on Cleveland here. Bears can come in here, play a little looser too. So yeah, I think the Browns are getting a bit too much love for last week's win, and this Bears team's playing really well. Offensive line coming together as well. They had a lot of injuries on that defense too. In the back end, they're healthier now across the board. Outside of Ngakoue, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I think that the Bears are the play here. I think they're super live. This is probably a game that comes down to just nonsense at the end.
Okay, how about a throwback mix in the water comment? This fella here on Twitter says Bills to win the AFC at 40-1. That was going back 3 weeks ago. So I guess the mix in the water angle here, Raybon, is now you can get the Bills 7-1 at Bet365. It's the same bet, but the number's not as good. Do you have to mix in a water to bet the Bills now at 7-1? Meaning hold off?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we talked about this on the show. We both said we loved it. I think that was one of probably our favorite long shot that anyone's suggested in this whole show.
It's the Hall of Fame. It's the Hall of Fame to mix in a water.
Yeah, I mean, think about it like this. How many teams are in contention for playoff spots in the AFC? I mean, everything's jumbled together. There's more than 7 teams. So betting 7-1, like, you could just see just back of the envelope math how horrible that of a number that is. It's not, and you always want to bet based on value. So it doesn't matter that it was once 40-1. If you didn't get that, you didn't get that. It's all about analyzing the value now. If there was still value on 7-1, then sure, it wouldn't be a mix in the water. But I just think those are bad odds. Kind of like, like most of the anytime touchdown odds that get posted, period, they're just bad, So I just think this is a bad line.
Stuck.
Yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree. Then I talked about this on our podcast. I have Bills 50-1.
Super
and-
Bowl,
the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I'm just saying at the time it was that I bought them too. Now they're 7-. I mean, they're not even 50% to get into the playoffs. So
Yeah, exactly.
and then like just a lot of times these markets don't have value anyway. But this is not the time to buy the Bills after beating the Chiefs. Yeah, even a little bit before beating the Chiefs. But now after that win, all the value sucked out.
Yeah, this is like an advertisement for watch the damn show. If you haven't been missing the show, mix in a water, because you guys were convinced when that was brought up just a couple of weeks ago, and now look at the Bills.